It's time to go beyond the headlines, cause I don't put in overtime just so I can headline. Okay, now it's Fox Sports, I'm live with Renee. Going hard every day, sports rapping every play. Different segments for your favorites, coming at you daily with positive vibes, yeah, we some game changers. Basketball, football, soccer, with different interviews, you never know who may pop up. Listen, only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington.
It is time for our positive vibes only segment here on Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington. And joining us in this episode, we've got author, pastor, motivational speaker, business consultant, man of many hats, Ralph Graves Jr. So, Ralph, welcome to the show.
Hi, Renee. How are you? I'm just so glad to be on.
Oh, I'm glad to have you here. I'm excited to get into your journey and your background, and as well as your books and all the things that you have going on. So I'd like to start from the beginning. What inspired you to want to inspire others, to get into this field to begin with?
I think just the way I was raised, I've always been a helper. I've come from a family that was always there inspiring people, and my parents were the kind of parents that always had a good word for me and my brother, kind of get us out the door. And, just in my career and doing the things I've done on a sports team, was on the police department, I always found that a kind word turned away wrath, and a kind word could really encourage and change somebody's behavior.
Absolutely. And now you get to meet people on a spiritual level, professional level. You're working on all different aspects of a person's life. I mean, what was really that step for you to help you build yourself up to now be able to reach out to so many people beyond just through your books, but through the work that you do online, through, your motivational speaking and being at events and things like that? What was that step to go from just wanting to help people to actually be able to do it?
I think, after I retired from the police department, I did 20 years in the police department. After I retired from the police department,
Nice.
And while I was working, I saw different people in different seasons of their lives, and I was able to help a lot of people along the way. So I said, you know what, I have all this knowledge and all of this wisdom I've gained over the years. I've got to share it. And so as soon as I, probably about a year before I retired, I started my journey, preparing myself for what I wanted to do after I retired. And that is, tour the country, keynote speaking and writing books, and just encouraging people to discover their destiny and purpose and so they can be the best version of themselves they could be.
Yeah, I like that. Well, congrats on retiring. That is awesome.
Thank you.
And congrats on taking that next step and pursuing your passion and purpose. And your latest book that you wrote, Unstoppable: 7 Universal Laws That Will Transform How You Pursue and Achieve Success, has a lot of those great messages that you embody. Can you tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, those 7 universal laws? I don't want to spoil them completely. We want people to read them themselves. But, just kind of a little background on your book that people can check out for themselves.
Yeah, one thing about the 7 universal laws, like I tell people, I didn't reinvent the wheel. These laws are always there, and it's just when we learn to operate with them, like the law of gravity is a universal law. You're successful. You're successful in life if you navigate gravity correctly, right? So, so there are other laws. Yeah. The law of habit, universal law. The law of intelligent practice, the law of forgiveness. And so I go into 7 of these things kind of to really encourage people to really learn how to navigate, to kind of shed some of the weight, to really learn how to operate within them as we pursue and ultimately achieve success. You're not really going to achieve the success that you want until you learn to respect universal laws that have been put in place by our creators. So, that's where that comes from. And I tie it in with stories that I've seen on the street, just in life and from the police department and some other things. So just really encouraging people to really know what they are and apply them to your life.
Right. And congratulations also. I saw your book has, aside from being on Amazon, people can also buy it in Barnes & Noble, which is definitely a dream in itself
Yes.
to have your book with your name on it, something you wrote, to be sold on the shelves of Barnes and Noble.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's a dream come true.
I can only imagine. I hope one day my books will be there in Barnes and Noble too. We'll see.
They will. They will be. Trust me, they will be. I'm sure of it.
So, I mean, you're a game changer. You know, you're working in different aspects, as we talked about.
Yeah.
What's your biggest message that you find yourself constantly telling people, and whether it's in conversation or even, you know, when you're a keynote speaker, when you're preaching in church, whatever it may be, what's kind of like a recurring message that you feel that people would constantly either need to hear, or that you feel that is the right moment to share with them?
I think the first step is that I kind of let people is like your existence is not happenstance. You know, you were placed in this period in time for this period in time. You're not an accident. You're not a mistake. And there's an assignment. There's something deep inside you. There's a purpose. But all of us are here in this short period of time we call life. There's this purpose for us to fulfill that'll not only better ourselves or propel ourselves, but better those around us. And our life begins to find purpose as we sow into other people. And I think, a lot of people that I meet, they have a problem with self-worth. And no, not me. Oh, yes, you were put here for a specific reason at this specific time to do great things. And I think that's one of the reoccurring messages. And once a person understands that, then they can really pursue their purpose, their destiny, and figure out why is it that I'm here. So.
Yeah, that's a great message. It starts there, understanding where you are in your life, why you're here, what you've overcome, and what it taught you, and all the lessons that we learn along the way to get to this exact moment in this exact place where we are. Right. And I know something that I came across that was so inspirational. Bishop T.D. Jakes was, and of course, for anyone listening, regardless of your religion and religious affiliation, I feel like these messages, they expand beyond a specific religion. But for me, Bishop T.D. Jakes was talking about a moment where he felt like quitting, and he had a woman come up to him and basically was saying how she saved his life. Yeah. And it was so powerful to me, because a lot of times we are ready to quit and give up because we feel like things aren't going well based on our own vision, but someone out there might be seeing what we're doing, and in some way we might be inspiring them. Did you have a moment like that where you felt like, where you had an encounter with someone that said in some way you either saved their life, changed their life, or just made it better, and in that moment you kind of realized, wow, I'm doing the right thing?
Yeah. I've had moments like that, whether it was something I did on the street as a police officer, or whether it's something somebody heard me keynote speaking somewhere. But I'm human, and there are times where the humanness part's like, man, nobody's listening. I'm just going to throw in the towel. What are we doing this for? And then when you least expect it, somebody like out of the blue will come up to you and say, what you said today and what you did today was for me. I was going to stop. I was going to quit. I had thought about giving up. But just that word, you're like, wow, okay, all right, I'm still fulfilling my purpose. And I can't quit. I got to stay in there. I got to hang in there. So those are very rewarding moments. And they happen often. And you said something very key, and I want to talk about it. And I do talk about it when it comes to this book. I tell people when it comes to Unstoppable, it does not matter what your religious background is, what you believe in. These are, like I said, like gravity. Everybody to be successful should learn how to operate in universal laws. I tell this joke that kind of makes people kind of chuckle. I said, listen, if a Christian, a non-believer, atheist, whatever, if they're on top of a building and they both jump off, the Christian ain't going to sprout wings and fly. Okay? They both have ignored the law of gravity. And so there are, like, the law of reciprocity that applies to all of us. No matter who you are, whatever you plant is coming up again. It doesn't matter who you are. And so when you learn to plant good things, you can expect good things to happen in your life. So, but yeah. I've had moments like that where people said, "Listen, it was your word that kept me going."
That is powerful. Wow. So what's next for you? You're writing books, or you're speaking. I know people can book book you now. I did see that for 2020.
Yeah, you can book me now. I have a radio show in the Philadelphia area that starts November the 6th. I'll be on a local radio show. It'll be on 8:60 a.m. WWDB. It's 8 to 9 in the morning. We'll be there. Also have a television program we're starting November 13th. And that's on a network called RVN TV. I don't know if you guys heard of it. But it'll be shown on Roku and those other things that you can, if you have a smart TV, you can catch up on it. So doors are opening, and we're going to give everything the best that we can, the best that we have. And I have some more books coming. I'm not done. I got 25 books in me. I got about 25 in me. So we got quite a few more to do. Yeah.
How many have you written so far?
Two.
You got it. You're well on your way.
Yeah.
Two books
The first
down,
one.
23 to go.
Yeah, that's right. And but I just want to encourage people, and I love what you're doing here. I mean, this is phenomenal. So glad that we linked up. And I just want to encourage you, if it's in your heart, if your purpose to do it, go for it. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, there are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be high points and low points. But whatever you do, don't stop moving and don't stop pressing forward.
There you go. Well, here's a funny for you. It's such a small world. I actually hosted a sports show with RVN TV. That would have been like 2 years ago now. I had a sports show with them. Yep, it was called The Sports Break.
Wow.
What my show is now, Beyond the Headlines, but one of my very first time. That was my first show I ever hosted. That was purely my show and my visit. But yeah, small world.
Wow. Well, would you mind if I had you on my show? See how this works if people about to witness me book you on my show.
For sure.
So,
let me know.
Very good.
And where can our listeners follow you as you're now getting, expanding beyond just books and all that you're already doing to now also have a radio and TV presence? Where can they follow along to keep up with you on social media and things like that?
Everywhere. Instagram at Ralph Graves Jr., LinkedIn, Ralph Graves Jr., Facebook, Ralph Graves Jr., a couple of Facebook pages, Ralph Graves Jr. What else? We got? The YouTube channel, which we're really beginning to grow through these other means. So, and you can just email me at yournextkeynotespeaker.com. They can go to my website. It's ralphgravesjr.com. My email, I have another email connected to that. Everything's Ralph Graves. Ralph at ralphgravesjr.com. Yeah. So what's funny is I had to pay a lot of money for a branding agent to tell me that. I couldn't figure that myself. But
to make everything the same, isn't that something?
That's right. Keep everything the same, So that's where you'll be able to find me, and we can connect and we can talk and find out how we can work together.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time to join us on our Positive Vibes Only segment. It's been a pleasure having you on the show this week.
Thank you.
And I hope someone was inspired. I know I was. It's always great to hear an inspirational message, just reminding you that you're doing okay. You're human. Yeah. You're living life. You're where you're supposed to be, and everything is working out for your good. So thank you so much. That's right.
Thank you for having me.